Hey everyone, we are going to start chapter 12 today, and chapter 12 is all about data displays and measures of center. Measures of center will be things like mean, median, and mode. Mean, another word for mean is average. So we will learn about those three centers, measures of center, coming up in the chapter. But today we are just going to be talking about recognizing a statistical question. Statistical questions are questions we can use when we have a set of data, or if we want to collect data, we will want a statistical question to drive that, collecting that data. Okay, so let's look at the definition here. A statistical question is a question about a set of data that can vary. And notice I highlighted vary. Varying means not a lot, like very happy, but it means like it's varied. It can have lots of answers. Okay? To answer a statistical question, you need to collect or look at a set of data. And we today will just be checking out questions. We either have to identify a statistical question or we might have to write a statistical question about something. Okay? And remember, a statistical question, the answers will vary. If it varies, then I can put it on like a line plot or a dot plot, and we will get to that in future lessons as well. Okay, so let's look at the first section right here where it says, identify the statistical questions about Jack's homework time. Okay, so A says, how many times did Jack spend longer than an hour on homework this week? And then it says statistical question. Jack is unlikely to do homework for the same amount of time each day, so the question asks about a set of data that can vary. So I'm going to underline that word. That set of data can vary. So each day he does homework will probably be a different amount of time each night. It might be the same on some nights, but it won't always be the same. That's the part about varying. So you could answer it with data about Jack's homework time for a week. So a statistical question again can be answered with data, with varied data. Okay, and then B, how long did Jack do homework today? Is that a statistical question? That's not a statistical question because you're asking about a specific time and day. So it says right after that, not a statistical question. It asks about Jack's homework time on one day. There's no varying there. It does not refer to a set of data that varies. Okay, does that make sense? Now the next example here, I'm going to slide it up, is to write a statistical question about your school's cafeteria. So think of what kind of data could vary in the situation. In this situation, it might be menu items, students, or activities. So these are both statistical questions, just examples of two different statistical questions. So A, how many students were in the cafeteria during fourth period each day for the past 2 weeks? So it's over time, and it'd be different amounts of people. It's in the same period. It's always in fourth period there, but it's talking about different days, which will very likely have different amounts of people there. And then B is, what was the greatest number of entrees served in one day in the cafeteria last month? So every day, it says served in one day. Let's see. Let me read it again. What was the greatest number of entrees served in one day in the cafeteria last month? Even though they're asking about one day, they're saying which day served the most entrees. How many days are in a month? 30. How many days do we eat in the cafeteria? Not 30 because we have the weekends, right? So you would only be doing 22 days, and on each day, different people eat different times. Even in our class, I don't always have the same people eat hot lunch every day. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope so. If not, we're going to go through a couple more, and then also there's going to be a little video lesson that you can watch. Okay, so let's do this top part. Let me just do that. Okay, identify the statistical question. Circle the letter of the question. Okay, so which one? We're going to identify which one. Let's look at number 1. How many people flew from New York to San Francisco yesterday? Or how many people flew from New York to San Francisco each day this month? Which question is a statistical question and why? Okay, so in this case, this asks us how many people flew from New York to San Francisco yesterday. That's asking us about one day. So there is not going to be varied answers there. There's only one answer for that question for one day, that day, yesterday. But B, how many people flew from New York to San Francisco each day this month? So this one, it will vary. Each day of the month will have a different number. Okay, and again, when we have a statistical question and we get varied answers, those answers can be plotted on a dot plot, for instance, so that we can see how the data lays out. Okay, and that's how what we want to get for a data display. Okay, and then number 2, how many siblings does each of your classmates have? Each of your classmates. So if we were to do this in class and we asked each person, we would have 28 different people answering how many siblings they have. Okay, but on B, we have how many siblings does your best friend have? Well, your best friend is one person and it's not going to have varied answers. So in this case, it's A. All right? Okay, these are pretty simple, and I think they can get a little trickier when we get to homework, but keep this in mind. Remember, if you need to, stop the video, take notes. If you need to watch the video again, watch it again, take notes. Really important that we keep notes. Remember, notes can be used on anything we do right now since we're learning at home. So any tests, any quizzes, any homework. Okay, let's look at this last part right here. It says to write a statistical question you could ask in the situation. So, Hannah recorded the temperature in her yard every day for a week. Can you think of a question that we could write for that piece of information? What do you think? So, I'm going to give you one. How about, could we ask a question like, which day had the highest temperature? And we would probably want to say which day had the highest temperature in Hannah's yard for the last week. So we would be choosing just one day, but we'd still take a temperature for each day of the week. Okay? And then let's see, number 4. Ian knows his scores for each time he has bowled this year. So if he knows all of his scores, that means we have a variety of answers. So what kind of question could we have? Maybe what was Ian's lowest score? Or what was Ian's highest score? Both of those questions would work. Okay, does that make sense? You can write those down for yourself if you want. I didn't write them because I think they could vary and I don't want to just there's no yes or no. We just have to make sure a question we ask could have varied answers. So, if I say what was his highest, that's just one, but it's based on a set of data. Does that make sense? Okay. Awesome. So now head on over to the next link that I put in our lesson and watch the lesson. I just found these online from another teacher who already had these made, but I will definitely help out if you have any questions. Okay. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.